If you've been following along on this channel now for any period of time, you've seen me time and again dismantle the Democrat Party and undeniably prove that they are nothing more but lying hypocrites. And now it's time I do that for this man right here, former President Barack Obama, the man that the Democrats worship as a nearly infallible human god hybrid. They love this man. 10 years ago, criticizing him would have been unfathomable and would have got you canceled. But now, the game has changed, and it's time we expose this guy as the phony that he actually is. Let me set the frame for you when it comes to this man being a hypocrite. Do you remember this train wreck right here? We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary almost of when this country was absolutely saved from this abomination, something I literally thank God for almost every day. Well, she was such a train wreck and a disaster around this time last year that she was even losing the black vote. It was getting bad.
Kamala's in trouble. The first black female presidential nominee, and black men aren't really that into her.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012.
I actually love that because that actually shows a nice pattern of the Democrats losing the black vote slowly over time. It all peaked with Obama and it all started going downhill from there. And so what did the Democrats do around this time last year to try to save Kamala Harris, to get her elected via the black vote and redraw the black men back towards voting Democrat? They deployed Barack Obama, their secret weapon, half God, half human hybrid that every liberal voter gets on their knees and worships when told to do so.
When you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
I'm not going to make you sit through that whole thing. You get the idea. This is what they did, and they sent Obama out to virtue signal to black men who were outright refusing to vote for Kamala Harris. And, in general, were the demographic that the Democrat Party has slowly been losing over the last 10 years. For good reason, too. And in just a couple minutes here, I'm going to expose Obama's ridiculously absurd and disgusting hypocrisy when it comes to all of this. But before I do that, be sure to give this video a like right now, especially if this is not your first time here. Drop a comment down below and subscribe to the channel. Unless, of course, you voted for Obama twice and haven't voted for Trump not a single time. If that's the case, please be sure to dislike this video and never come back. And also be sure to vote for Kamala Harris in 2028 when she runs for president. Long story short, Obama's plan didn't work. The Democrats' plan didn't work. This is what the map looked like. Kamala Harris absolutely sucked. She literally did not outperform Biden in a single state that he won during his presidential campaign. She lost every single swing state. She lost the Electoral College. She lost the popular vote, and every single state in America, including states like Vermont and New York and California, shifted more to the right. She was an absolute disaster, and black people did not turn out for her nearly as much as they had for Biden or Clinton or especially Obama. That's the end result here. Fast forward to just a year later, and now we're seeing a very interesting election take place in Virginia between Abigail Spanberger, pictured there on the left, and Winsome Sears, pictured on the right. Now, Winsome Sears on the right is a Republican black woman, while Abigail Spanberger on the left there is a liberal, very liberal white woman. And there's a big problem in this race. It is now full of controversy and scandals, particularly on the Democrat side of the aisle. Here you can see Spanberger posing with that man on the right there, Jay Jones, who's a wannabe Virginia State Attorney General candidate. And he's gotten himself and Abigail Spanberger in a lot of trouble. I'm sure you're already aware of it. These were his text messages that were leaked, and I've made a video on this already in the past. He basically just jokes about his political rivals dying and a whole bunch of other horrible things. You should absolutely look these text messages up if you haven't already read them. Joking about, the typical Democrat stuff, calling his Republican opponent a fascist, talking about how he wishes he had 2 bullets to put into the head of his Republican rival Gilbert at the time. Not surprising, though, just more exposes the Democrats to be who we thought that they were. And it's, of course, no surprise that as soon as these text messages were released and made public and leaked, that Jones's chances of winning as Virginia State Attorney General tanked, and now his opponent Miyares is up. And I know what you're thinking, of course. How does this have to do with Obama being a hypocrite? And I'm going to get to that in just a minute. I want to show you a key component in this Virginia state race here, because despite Jay Jones having his text messages released, which are just horrendous, and despite the fact that he's hurting the Democrats' chances of winning in Virginia, gubernatorial candidate Abigail Spanberger here, when called out by Republican Winsome Sears on Jay Jones's texts, would not condemn it. And it looked terrible. This is now an infamous debate moment where Abigail Spanberger smiles and refuses to answer the question, arrogantly even, on the debate stage.
Take him pulling the trigger, is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
Miss Earl Sears.
I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that?
And the answer is no, she had nothing to say about it. She doesn't actually even believe that the people deserve an answer from her on it. She's arrogant. She's a Democrat. She believes that she'll have enough support to win because it's Virginia. It's not a super red state. And this scandal and controversy hurt her somewhat, but it won't matter at the end of the day because these stupid Virginians will vote for her anyway. You'll get on your knees and do what you're told, you dumb Democrat voter. You will vote for me because I'm a Democrat. That's literally the mindset there, just so you understand that. And this ties into how Obama's a hypocrite because the latest Virginia polls are looking pretty bad. They assumed that they were going to easily win this despite the Jay Jones text, and this poll is saying otherwise. You can still see Spanberger is up, but only by a 2-point lead within the 3-point margin of error, meaning that internal polling very likely has Spanberger and Democrats incredibly concerned about this race. I'm willing to bet some internal polling even shows Winsome Earl Sears up over Spanberger. It would not shock me. And that's where former President Barack Obama comes in. The Democrats ace in the hole as always. And what do you think he's going to do here in the state of Virginia? Bearing in mind, of course, that the Republican gubernatorial candidate running for governor there, Winsome Earl Sears, is a black woman. And we just saw that speech that I showed you at the beginning of this video where he was harping on young black men for not voting for Kamala Harris, sitting out the election, choosing to do nothing, voting against her even. That's devastating to him. So what do you think he's going to do here? Well, let's take a look.
Virginia's elections are some of the most important in the country this year, and I am proud to endorse Abigail Spanberger for governor. Republican policies are raising costs on working families so billionaires can get massive tax cuts. As governor, Abigail will stand up for Virginia families. She'll work to build an economy that works for everyone, not just big corporations and the wealthy. But it won't happen without you. Every vote counts, so turn out and vote for Abigail Spanberger for governor on November 4th.
Wow. Obama's supporting a white woman over a black woman. Interesting. It's almost as if Democrat values really don't mean all that much, and all it takes is just a couple months to a year to just expose them as the hypocrites that they are. They don't have a moral compass. It's wherever the wind takes them. And it gets even worse than this moment, by the way. I'm going to show you that in 1 second. I want to highlight something, though. This man, Obama, endorsing Abigail Spanberger, who would not condemn the J. Jones text messages. It gets worse for Abigail. It gets worse for Obama and his hypocrisy. Take a look at this right here when it comes to Abigail Spanberger. She was given a second chance after that terrible, infamous debate performance where she refused to answer Winsome Earl Sears on the question of the J. Jones texts. She was now asked in a more controlled atmosphere the same question. Did she seize the opportunity to walk back her terrible debate performance and finally address the J. Jones text and condemn it outright?
If I'm being very honest, we are 3 weeks away from an election in Virginia. I have worked tirelessly for 2 years running for this office. I announced in November 2023. The fact that I say this with all due respect because, I think it's a fair thing for you to ask about, the fact that I have to spend even a moment's time talking about somebody else's text messages from years ago rather than what I want to do as governor is something that I am deeply unhappy about.
Stop asking the question, basically, is her answer. She still won't condemn it. She's now telling you, how dare you ask me that question? It's annoying. I have more important things to discuss, you fool. That's basically what she's saying there. Isn't that nice? And Obama's endorsing her over a black woman, all because the black woman's a Republican. That's all it comes down to. It's party politics. All of their virtues mean nothing. It all goes out the window when it comes to just partisan support, where their values actually lie, which is just in power rather than ethics. And like I said, it gets worse for Obama and his hypocrisy too, because do you think it really stopped with a 30-second ad endorsing Spanberger? No. Obama is going to fly out to Virginia to hit the campaign trail with Abigail Spanberger and campaign against the black woman, Winsome Earl Sears. This is from Abigail Spanberger's official page. President Barack Obama to rally with Abigail Spanberger in Norfolk, Virginia. On Saturday, November 1st, President Barack Obama will join Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger to rally in Norfolk and make clear the stakes of this November's election for the future of the Commonwealth. This will be the first campaign visit to Hampton Roads of any Democrat president in over a decade. President Obama last campaigned in Hampton Roads in 2012. Last week, President Obama endorsed Spanberger in her campaign to serve as the next governor of Virginia. President Obama highlighted Spanberger's commitment to lowering costs and always putting the people of Virginia first. He also highlighted Spanberger's record of protecting Virginians' fundamental rights, including their voting rights and the right of women to make their own health care decisions. So yes, Obama is a massive hypocrite, and all of that virtue signaling and all of that lecturing that he gave last year means absolutely nothing when you simply fast forward just a year later to a race in Virginia. None of those values does he actually stand on. None of it does he actually believe. He would rather endorse this. This is Abigail Spanberger just a few years ago. I'm sure by the picture you can tell exactly when this photo was taken. This is who is about to be the Virginia state governor, and this is why it is so damn important for conservatives to get out and vote in their local and state elections and participate in the midterm elections. It is not good enough to only vote every 4 years for the president. We need to see an uptick in conservative voters because otherwise, people like this get voted into office and they control your quality of life more directly in most cases than the president does. That's my message on this video today, besides Obama being a massive hypocrite. Conservatives need to get out and vote in every single election you can. Now, it will remain to be seen just what kind of influence Obama actually has, because I think it's been dying over the past couple of years. I really do. He took to the campaign trail to go against Trump, and it failed miserably. He tried to rally support for Kamala. It failed miserably. And in Virginia, Spanberger is still up in every single poll, though the margin seems to be narrowing tremendously. So will Obama affect it enough to get Spanberger voted in? Not sure. That remains to be seen. I'll be following the election very, very closely, though. And I'll also be watching what Obama says and does when he hits that campaign trail against Winsome Earl Sears. I'm sure it'll be full of more hypocrisy just like this.
The women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out. I've got a problem with that.
Having the right governor matters, and I'm proud to endorse Abigail Spanberger.
On the one hand, you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles that comes from those experiences.
And I'm proud to endorse Abigail Spanberger.